Hey everyone, welcome to the May 18th episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm Nat Daddy here to round up the weekly new books that came out, do some review. Got about I think 15 or 16 new books to review. So let's jump into it. First off, let's thank some of the people that helped make this show happen. We got the guys over at 204 Comics, Ashley and Bobby there. Had a great time last Sunday. Chip Zdarsky signing there. So from 11 to 2, Chip Zdarsky there was signing pretty much anything that you would put in front of him. And if you were lucky enough, he was even doing some little sketches and remarks in that too. So that was pretty awesome. So congrats to those guys for that. Also, Primo's Live Wrestling. Big weekend coming up for those guys. Winnipeg show on the Friday night, Saturday night in Killarney, Sunday in Toulon. So if you're any of those three places, do come check that out. Like I said, it'll be an amazing show if you are wrestling fans. And other than that, let's jump right into the show. Of course, we have us. Can't forget about us. Let's always show off what we like to sell at all these events as well too, and on our website. And if you want to contact as well, all of our exclusives. Oh, they're pretty nice books there. Hope to add to that one day. But until then, let's jump into some neat books for this week. First off, let's show some covers I thought were the picks of the week. These are both variants of the new books, also both from Dynamite, just most realist here. You got the Maleficent one. This is the VHS ones. I always like it when they put out these covers that look like old VHS copies. So we got Disney's Villains Maleficent there. And then also to the right here, we got new Elvira series, Elvira Monsterland. This is kind of wrapping up all the things that have been happening in Elvira for the last 4 or 5 years, where she's been kind of going through all the monsters through her kind of multiverse remote control TV thing. Now this time it's Dracula showing up, and she has to deal with all these different versions of Dracula. But I'll review both these books a little bit later on the show. But again, let's start. First off, again, we're going to do it in what I find seems to be the easiest way is alphabetical order. So we'll start off with for Marvel Comics this week we have a new #1 for Avengers. Jed MacKay doing the writing. New start, new team. Avengers stories, we got Captain Marvel now. She's the leader of this new team. She's putting together a new team here. She has asked Thor and Iron Man to join. She has the Vision and Captain America, Sam Wilson, Falcon, Black Cat, and Scarlet Witch. So pretty, nothing too outstanding about this team. And I know quite a few members that are kind of standard members for an Avenger team. And they seem to start off here fighting Terminus, a big creature that always seems to attack power plants and that. So starting off there, nothing too wild or crazy in here. So we'll see where it goes. But no, typical Avengers book. From Skybound Image Studios, we have from Dylan Burnett, we have Arcade Kings. This is probably one of my favorite books of the week. A little bit more of a thicker book, kind of a trade paperback almost size, mini trade paperback size. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit more in cost, but nice cardstock cover there. You have this character on the cover there. He seems to have shown up at the local arcade. He's almost unstoppable in every game in that. And then another guy shows up to challenge, and seems like maybe his path's going to catch up with him in that there. So don't want to go too much into it, but no spoilage wise. But some amazing artwork here, and pretty cool story so far. From Image. From DC Comics, also this week, a little bit of larger size, trade paperback type of size. We have from Batman, the Brave and the Bold, new anthology series here. The old Brave and the Bolds were always stories of Batman teaming up with someone. Doesn't seem to be like that this time around. We think we have three, maybe 4 stories in here. A couple are Batman related, a couple aren't. And they're not just one and done stories. It seems like each story here is going to continue on for the next 2 or 3 issues and that. So that's kind of neat to see there. You have one story here. It's kind of a retelling of the how Batman and Joker kind of first started encountering each other. You got futuristic Batman in here as well too. Superman story. So it's neat. I enjoyed it. Like it is a little bit more larger size, a little bit more expensive, but pretty good start so far. Great artwork throughout the whole book. From DC as well, we have from the Dawn of DC, we have Cyborg. So we have a new Cyborg title starting up here, coming out of that Dawn of DC line, which is kind of like the kind of rebooting or no, the kind of the restarting or retelling of the DC universe. They're really quite pushing it, and so far they've been doing an okay job of it. They're even having commercials on TV for these comics, the Dawn of DC. So that's really cool to see. DC and Warner Brothers Discovery put their their full resources behind some comics. So again here we have a new story of Cyborg, of Victor. He's back home in Detroit, just trying to live his life in that. Turns out his father is killed in this episode, or in this beginning of this one, his father has died, and he's kind of dealing with that right now. And at the end of the story, we see a neat little twist about him and his father and how their relationship is definitely going to change because of this. But your typical Cyborg story, nothing too crazy so far or different from what you're used to in that. Some pretty good artwork in here. Kind of makes me feel like all those Captain America, Steve Rogers stories where he goes back to Brooklyn just to kind of leave like a normal life, but everybody knows who he is in the neighborhood, but still treats him as a regular guy, even though he's like a legend and a superhero. So all right, start there as well. From Dynamite, what I was talking about a little bit earlier, we have Elvira and Monsterland. I always enjoy these Elvira series from Dynamite. They're pretty entertaining, pretty funny, lots of tongue-in-cheek stuff in that. Just like Elvira herself here. This story here is pretty neat, and you can kind of see on the cover here, there's so many different variations of all Dracula over the years. And what's going on in this story is the original Vlad the Impaler, the original Dracula, who is an enemy of Elvira. They've tangled in the past before. He has now control of this magic remote control that lets him go through all these different multiverses, and he's gathering up all the different Draculas. So he's going through, and as you can see on the cover there's so many different types of Draculas, and each one does act to their true self. So it's kind of funny seeing them in the stories and that, like the spoofs on the characters and that. So pretty entertaining so far, and lots of nice covers for this, which is pretty handy because Elvira is going to be doing a signing at CGC pretty soon. So looking forward to that as well. From Marvel, we have a new Ghost Rider series starting up. We have Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider. I like this book so far. I always like the Ghost Rider stuff. The Danny Ketch from the 90s series stuff was always pretty interesting. Good start so far. There is an introduction of a new character in here called the Broker. He kind of seems to take people and kind of gives them powers or increases their powers in that. Even though if it is just temporarily for good or for bad, and to use against the Ghost Rider in that. So pretty neat story to start so far. You have both Ghost Rider Danny Ketch and Johnny Blaze in here as well. So good to see the two of them working together as well. Some good artwork. I liked it as well too. From IDW, this is part of their original line. We have from the Dark Spaces imprint, which is the Scott Snyder line. We have Good Deeds. Neat stories so far. We have these two women who've kind of moved to a new town, and one has a daughter, and they're set up there, and they've opened up this little diner, and they're starting to get this all together. And as this is going on, a woman is showing up there to do reports, an out-of-town reporter who's kind of seems like she's kind of recovered from a disgrace, maybe a what definitely seems like a story she did in the past was worked out that either she told it inaccurately or it turned out to not be true. So she's trying to recover from that disgrace, and she has to take small crappy jobs. One of them being reviewing this town for like I think it's their bicentennial history. So she's there doing a kind of a puff piece on this town. She wants to dig a little bit deeper. happens to run into these two people who are starting a new life in this town at this new little diner. And something happens at this diner where the person who sold the diner to the mom and this daughter gets killed because he kind of shows up to harass and possibly maybe even rape the women there. And he gets killed in a seems like in maybe a horrific manner. We don't know if it's supernatural or what or not. So kind of ends up on a twist there. But good start so far. Neat story so far too. I didn't expect the kind of maybe supernatural twist there at the end. So pretty good start so far. I did enjoy this. From Marvel, we have the Hulk Annual #1. This is kind of just a one-shot standalone series. Neat story here. It's the Hulk fighting the big monster underground creature from the Mole Man, the creature that is on the cover of the Fantastic Four cover from all those many years ago. So that big green monstrous creature from Fantastic Four 1 is fighting the Hulk in here. Neat little story. I liked it. It's leading into a new Hulk series, so we'll go from there. You don't have to know a bunch of what's been going on in the Hulk or anything in that. Like just a simple Hulk fighting a monster story, and pretty funny at some points too. So that was enjoyable. That's the way I like my Hulk. From Archie Comics, the Archie Horror series line, we have Jinx, The Cursed Life. This one was a little bit darker than I anticipated, even though I know what these horror stories are like. You have Jinx there, who is like this teenage girl. She's very often a babysitter for people around the neighborhood in the Archie universe there. And I believe she's 13 or 14, probably about 13, just because of that number being kind of a supernatural number. And she's they do kind of sometimes say she is, and it's always rumored throughout the neighborhood that she's the devil's daughter and that. So in this issue, her and her friend there, they're trying to start up this rock band, and they know they're basically just yelling and screaming punk rocker type. And Archie ends up showing up there, asking for her help, knowing that she's, like I said, the devil's daughter, and wants help with his pal Jughead, who seems to be possessed. So yeah, she shows up there with her friend and has kind of a bit of a exorcism with Jughead, and it's yeah, not for kids. It's a kind of a neat story there. I enjoyed it. I like all these chilling adventure stuff, so they're pretty neat. If you like a darker horror take on the Archie characters. From Disney and Dynamite, we have part of the villains line. First, it was Scar from Lion King. Now we have Maleficent. Pretty cool character. I like this story. I actually enjoyed this one a little bit more than the Scar book, which I kind of thought would be the opposite. This one's neat. Tons of covers for this book. There's probably about 10 or 15 of them. All pretty neat. This story is neat as well too. Kind of a one-shot story where this young boy, this young guy, he's wandering through the forest and he comes across Maleficent's hut, and tries to take some magic items from her, and he ends up being caught. And instead of punishing right away, she kind of rewards him a little bit with something magical, trinket like, and he still uses that to try and steal more from her. So he ends up being punished by her in a very witchy kind of cursed kind of way. So I liked it. It was kind of neat, simple kind of one and done. Don't fool around with witches type of story. I liked it. It's cool. From Dark Horse Comics and the world of the Hellboy universe, we have Miss Truesdale and the Fall of Hyperborea. I wasn't familiar with this character, but apparently it's a woman who can get visions from her former lives and kind of keeps having these visions, and she kind of gets almost can kind of change the past by reliving these visions, and that and also by changing the past affect the future. So Miss Truesdale here ends up having a vision of her life when she was like this barbarian type of slave that ends up being captured and like I said turned into a slave, and then turned into like a fighting gladiator type of warrior. interesting story so far. Like I said, does kind of have that gladiator type of feel to it. I'm enjoying it. I like this. I always like, kind of gladiator or timepieces like that, and having this whole kind of out of body time, multiple life experience twist on the story is neat as well. Great artwork, even though it's not Mike Mignola doing the artwork, it's him doing the story. But I do like the artwork. It just kind of has that Mignola universe style to it. So definitely give this one a try. From Fantagraphics, we have the Ed Piskinger's Red Room. This is Cryptic Killers #1. This is the 3rd volume in the Red Room series. Definitely not for children. Most adults can't even can't even handle this book or read it because it is quite graphic, both sexually and gruesomely. It's basically about these red rooms where people are killed for money and profit. Like snuff films live on the web type of thing. Like I said, this is the 3rd volume. The fellow you see on the cover there was one of these red room killers, these serial killers that kind of streamed all this stuff for money, and he was caught and they killed him at the last issue. And what's going on in this series is that his daughter, who is kind of left behind to deal with all the follow-up from that. So again, very, very gruesome in that. Very, very adult and graphic in that, but it's a neat story. We like I said, we have this guy who was part of these red rooms, and the cops call him, he's dead, and now she's out. She has no money. She's being ostracized. She's lost her job. Everybody hates her. She's being bullied in that. She's losing her jobs, losing her home, and at the end of the story, she finds in something that her father left for all this money that he's kept hidden for her. Through these kind of online Bitcoin currency type things, and it ends up to be millions and millions of dollars at the end of the story that she ends up having. So we'll see where it goes from there. Interesting, like I said, really good stories in that, but the shock value in that is probably what will turn off most people. So be forewarned. Otherwise, it's awesome. I love them. Again, from DC, part of their new Dawn of DC, the relaunch of a lot of stuff, we have from Tom Taylor, we have Titans. So now that the Justice League is gone, all the main Justice League people are back after all that Dark Crisis stuff, but they're all kind of fractured and healing and dealing with their own stuff. The Titans have decided to form and step up and fill that void. So good start to this story. And again, much like the Cyborg stuff, it's kind of a slower start. Nothing bad about it, nothing good, nothing as amazing as, like I said, that Superman series has been so far, but a good start so far. If you are a Titans fan, or if you just want to start off on reading something like that, this is definitely one way to start it. All this stuff is also being covered too, this and more, in DC has like a free primer out this week, where Dawn DC, where it kind of goes over everything a little bit, almost like a free little comic book day thing. So definitely check your comic shops for that. And they also have, besides the free versions, they have a blank sketch one that you can have to buy. That one's not free. And they also have a shiny foil cover of it as well too, but again, not one free. All right, onward. From Antarctic Press, we have Tomorrow Girl. Much like that Penguin comic a few months ago, or a Penguin Girl comic from a few months ago that we covered, I thought this one would be neat. The art in the cover is pretty cool. I like those negative space covers. For some reason, even before I picked this up, it did seem kind of familiar. And then when I did start reading it, I remembered why. So this Tomorrow Girl is kind of like a public domain character. She's the sidekick to an old, I don't even know what decade, 50s or 60s or 40s character. I guess it's Tomorrow Man. So, she's in this comic where she's been kind of rediscovered, and now she's traveling through this multiverse type of thing as well too. Everything's multiverse nowadays, where she's putting together and helping out this team, wherever she can type of thing to help get back to her own time in that. and she's going to be bouncing around constantly having these adventures. Like I said, she does team up with these other kind of public domain characters. So she ends up, Blue Beetle character. She meets that Daredevil character, which is not the Daredevil from Marvel, but the other Daredevil character, which has that weird half green, half red costume. Who else is in there? This like a Captain Atom type of character. Even like this Mary Marvel Shazam type characters in there, which is she actually is called Mary, and she does say Shazam in that. So um, interesting so far. I like how that some people are using some of these public domain characters because they're good characters in that. So it's good to see those get brought back. Fun little book. I enjoyed it. From DC, again, spinning out of the Dawn of DC stuff. We have these are We Are Legends, and this is the Vigil. So this is the first issue of a new team. So it's the first appearance of this team. Some of the characters have appeared already, again, in some of the earlier Dawn of DC stuff. But it's a neat team here. They're put together, and they kind of police the world for anything, technology-wise, that is either bad or in the wrong hands or too advanced for man to have out there right now. So very, very neat. Some of these team members have different powers. Each one is pretty different. It's written by Rom V, so I know it's going to have some great storytelling there. So definitely think you should check it out. There is a few neat new characters here that I do like. I can't remember what their names are right now, but that one guy here on the cover where it has like the red dripping down from his eye mask there, that guy has this disease where his bones aren't fully formed. So using this mask and that he can kind of mimic anybody in that. So there's some really neat stuff in here. So definitely something new and original. I liked it because a lot of those new original heroes that they do tend to make nowadays kind of suck. Last on our new books from this week, we have from Blood Moon Comics, we have Violet Descends. First off, the artwork on this book is amazing, really stands out, great throughout consistently from beginning to end. Excellent coloring on here. We have Violet here. She's one of the 7 archangels, sent to protect Earth from from everything. And she's kind of fallen out of I don't want to say fallen on faith, but she doesn't want to do what she's having a I guess a faith a crisis or a crisis of faith, even though she's an archangel herself. So she's kind of just kind of lost, kind of walking around being punished a little bit by God. And not responding to her duties that are going on Earth. So all this hellacious stuff's going on. The other archangels are trying to pick up the slack and find her at the same time as well too. So there's lots going on in this book. Neat story so far. At first, when I started reading it, I thought it was going to be kind of a little bit boring or formula like, because there is a lot of kind of fallen angel stuff. Going down and kind of redeem themselves on Earth and that. But this one does stand out part differently enough that it is, I enjoyed it. So especially the artwork on that. So highly recommend this one. And again, not for kids. So, all right, everyone. Not a lot this week, excitement-wise or variety-wise. Just a lot of number ones and some continuations of other series and that. But again, some great stuff in that. Do check it out. If you are this weekend being the holiday weekend, if you do get a chance to check out any of the wrestling shows this weekend, the 19th show in Winnipeg has a pretty stacked lineup. Super happy to be part of that. That's like I said on the Friday show. Saturday and Sunday, Killarney and Toulon respectively will be there with these guys as well too. And if you can't happen to make these shows, do watch it live. I'm going to stream them live on Facebook. And Primos himself will have it all 3 on live on TikTok as well. So if you can't be there live, be there at least digitally. Otherwise, we will see you guys later in the week. Peace out.